My name is Abe. I was Employee of the Year. Now I'm dead meat.
Pull a gun on me again and dead meat.
Dead meat! You might actually beat me. You really think so? Hell no! You're dead meat.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dead Meat Games, and that's a thing now. It's actually a thing. I'm so excited that Dead Meat Games is its own thing, and we are celebrating with a wonderful interview with the creators of the first game for Kill Count Games Season 3, Fear the Spotlight. We have Brian Singh and Krista Castro.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, there they are. Look, they're waving. Hi. This has been an interview. I was going to say it's been a long time coming, as they've been wonderful and like, yeah, we can do it. We can do it. And then I became super sick because my boy Phoenix went to daycare, and daycare is a blessing and a plague because it got the whole house sick for like a week and everything. We had to keep pushing it. But now we are finally here to talk all things Fear the Spotlight and cozy game pals.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
What an intro.
Yeah.
So with the plight of a parent being sick all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Yeah, because you have wee ones
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
Aside from Olaf there, who I see has
Yeah.
made an appearance,
He's the
which
first
I'm
one.
very. Yeah, how old are your children's?
We've got a 4-year-old girl and a 5-month-old baby boy.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so
we're
you're
starting it all over, getting right into that, being sick all the time again.
Yeah.
so it means even more that you're here with a 5-month-old that you were able to schedule that. So you've made a horror game.
Yeah.
But it is like your name suggests, a very cozy horror game. It's a very nice, gateway horror game into the world of horror. And since you are parents, how are you kind of introing your kids to horror or anything in that aspect? Because
Very poorly.
Yeah. Oh man.
Our kid's such a scaredy cat.
You try like some light movies, like even just like more tense movies, like How to Train Your Dragon or something. It's like way too intense for our kid. Like we have like our, like movies that we have in our home, and she'll like see like a scary face. And she's like, no, don't let me see the scary face. I'm like, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's interesting because Fear the Spotlight, we thought of Fear the Spotlight as like an intro horror game. Like, we love horror, the two of us, but a lot of our family and our friends really can't stomach it.
Yeah.
And so we always thought about it as like, oh, this would be a good starting game for them. And even Fear the Spotlight's kind of broken into halves, where like the first half is a lot more inviting, and then the second half we try to ratchet it up a little bit more to like see like, hey, do you like this too? But I don't know what to do about our kid, man. She's nowhere near. This is
Yeah, I think I'm. I think she's not gonna like it.
You've given up.
Yeah. We'll see when she's
no.
a little older. We'll see. She knows that mommy and daddy like scary things.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's just not my thing, which is totally fine.
that's great. I mean, that she's already recognized that. When my boy, we got an animatronic gremlin for the holidays.
Awesome.
Scared of it at first, but then taught him where's its nose, where its eyes, and so he learned the pieces of it, and then eventually he fell in love with it and wanted to say goodnight to it every night, and he called it Grabby. It was Grabby, and then he would start doing impressions of Grabby while we were changing him, and he'd go,
Oh, that is so cute and scary.
oh yeah, no, it's scary, but also like, yes, this is my boy. He knows who Chucky is. He's a big fan of Chucky because I have a full-size Chucky around there. But we haven't watched any actual horror stuff. Luckily, there's a Gremlins cartoon. So he did watch some of the Gremlins cartoon, and he loves watching Grabby and Gizmo and all of that. The thing that did terrify him was the ice cream truck. There was an ice cream truck. I think it was terrifying because this was at like 8 o'clock at night. And it's just slowly going down the road. And we were sitting outside, and he went, inside. Go inside. Go inside. Inside.
Oh my
And so when we would hear the little jingle of the ice cream truck, he'd be like, maybe that is something to be scared of, a nighttime ice cream truck.
Yeah, that's not a good time.
Not okay, but the ice cream was great.
Yeah.
Such a good Spider-Man pop. What you can call it.
So where did this idea originate from? Like, what was the pearl? Is it something you've been sitting on for a while, or?
Yeah, it's interesting. We really started from like we just loved making things together, and then we loved horror games, and so we're like that was like a natural progression for us. Is like, okay, we left our jobs to do our indie games full time, and so we're like, I guess I mostly pushed for wanting to make a horror game.
Yeah, I think it came in stages, right?
Yeah.
Like we had day jobs working in creative fields. Like I worked making video games professionally, and Krista worked in making cartoons for TV. And we were making video games as hobby projects, like on weeknights and weekends, and we were just having fun doing that. And we always kind of like aspired to like, oh, maybe one day we would like give it a shot, like really try, see what we can do. It was like lockdown pandemic times, and everyone was
It's time to do
reevaluating
it.
their lives. Yeah, we're like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's just like we're at home all the time anyways. Like let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens if we were to make something. And so that was kind of like one of the steps. And then as we were like evaluating what to make, Krista was my introduction to horror. Like I didn't watch a lot of horror, play a lot of horror games before. I played a lot of games. So I played like Resident Evil and Silent Hill and stuff just because I'll play everything. And then so Krista really introduced me to horror and like kind of sparked my love for it. I think it really started quite tropey. We're just like, okay, let's do like school horror, like that's cool, and like do like the goth girl and the nerd girl and those kinds of like just really sticking to tropes. Although I think it was kind of fun to decide to do a school that was like an American school, because we're used to seeing a lot of like Japanese schools or Japanese schoolgirls and stuff in horror games. So I
Yeah.
think there's not actually a ton of games that are in like American high schools. There's a few, but I think that was fun. And I think that's really where it started. And just like, what can we do? Can we even make something? Can we even take some time to make something? And then it really evolved gradually and naturally.
I love hearing that. I love hearing that you're just like, you know what, we're just gonna do it, and that's just incredible that you decided to, you had your established things you're working on because you're working at, was it Naughty Dog?
Yeah. I've worked at Naughty Dog, and I've worked on a couple of like indie teams as well.
I guess with Naughty Dog, I have to ask, who's the bigger murderer, Joel or Nathan Drake?
I think Joel is probably like the more like horrible murderer.
He's not having a good time.
Yeah,
but-
Nathan Drake might have a greater body count though.
That's what I thought. I was like, I killed so many people in
Yeah,
Uncharted,
he
but
just,
it's
like tears through those fools. But Joel will like make you feel it. He'll make you regret.
just regret walking in an area that he needs to get through. Oh, you shouldn't have been here. Oh, take care of you. And then Krista, you worked on, was it Animaniacs? The
Yeah,
Animaniacs
yeah.
reboot?
Yeah, I was on there and then Nickelodeon and just kind of all over. When you're working in animation, you're kind of just a contractor and you jump around a lot. So I've been at Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Fox, just a bunch of places.
And is that actual animating yourself, or are you directing more, or what were you doing?
I've done art direction. So I did art direction at Nickelodeon, but I have a primary focus in backgrounds and like layouts. So
Okay.
yes, like set designing, which kind of really came in handy when it came to like making a game and like designing all the levels and like having very distinct locations that you're discovering and like unfolding and going through. It was like really, really handy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how relevant that experience ended up being. Like, because Krista started as a background designer for cartoons, and like when you're watching a cartoon, that's not the focus, right? Like you're paying attention to the characters and what they're saying. And so she has to design those backgrounds kind of carefully to like kind of not steal the show, but still give you enough information. And like she has to pay a lot of attention to the overall like holistic idea. Like what is it coming together to be? And so when she started working on our game, she ended up being the level like designer of all the environments and really paying a lot of attention to like what do you see and what order and how are things laid out in like a very clear way. And just like that line of thinking led her to becoming like I consider her the creative director for Fear the Spotlight. Krista kind of created the whole scenario, like the levels, including like the events that happen in the levels and the sequence of events and the story and stuff. So I think like all that experience that she had from animation really evolved into whatever we needed for the game.
Yeah, I was actually, yeah, I was curious like how kind of things split in that way. And I mean, there is a great design, art design to the game that, is appealing even in its low, lo-fi PS1
Yeah.
thing. Like it's still, the design comes through really nicely.
Thank you.
But yeah, like how did the split kind of happen in, working on it? Did you equally kind of do like, oh, you just do this, you do this, or it's like, no, you focus on this area, you focus on this?
No, we didn't really have any like hard rules. I think
Yeah.
there was like natural divides. Like Brian, he studied computer science and he's a really technical person, so he did a lot of the programming. And then, I did a lot of the final art assets, but we are just like fumbling through and trying to like, we're both excited about making this thing. And we're like, oh, I guess I'll start like writing scripts and puzzle designing. And Brian, he picked up like, oh, we need character animation. So I'm going to start animating characters and doing cutscenes. And we're just kind of picking up things wherever we can. And
Yeah, I think very early days we maybe had some assumptions about like, oh, Chris's background's in art and my background's in like engineering. So
Yeah.
I guess you'll do the more artsy stuff. I'll do the more technical stuff. By the way, we quickly learned that it just doesn't work. Like there's so much to do that
Yeah.
either of us is just going to do whatever we can. And yeah, the split just ended up being like all over the place. Like, yeah, Krista ended up doing a lot of writing and stuff, and neither of us have experience with that. And I did like, yeah, animation and like timing for cutscenes and things like that. But I never did that before.
yeah, even like hiring voice actors and then directing them. Like neither of us have ever
Yeah.
done anything like that. And it was super fun to learn and try it
Yeah.
out.
That's fair. You had, was it Kaya, Freites, and
Oh, yeah.
Maganda Marie?
Maganda Marie,
Yeah.
they're awesome.
Yeah,
Man,
they're-
we're so
They-
lucky to have found them.
Are so fantastic. And
Yeah.
that right there is one of the things that, as a voice actor myself as well, that you gave an opportunity like that and it didn't go to a bigger named star or just anything like that. Like the performances are so captivating, and it's what really makes Vivian and Amy, or as I call them, Viv-Amy, the best little couple
Oh,
there. You
yeah.
really want to see them, make it through to
Absolutely.
the end.
Yeah.
They Kaya's in Overwatch now. She got an
Oh,
Overwatch
cool.
character. Yeah,
know.
they're rock stars. Like
Yeah.
it's inevitable that both of them will be like much more well known. They're so good. They
Yeah.
like taught us how to do our job too. Like
Oh,
we didn't know
yeah.
how to direct actors or how to do takes or anything.
And they're like, yeah, you should ask us to do it 3 times, and then you pick the one that you like, and then we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like you said the words, thank you very much. I apologize for wasting your time. Goodbye. Yeah, I guess I'm curious, how did that process go? Was it just kind of they would record lines and then send them back to you and be like, these are great, and then maybe redo this one? Or were you actually doing sessions where you were a little bit live directing or anything like that?
Yeah, we prefer to do the live, so we
Okay.
set up a session with both of them.
Well,
In hindsight,
yeah.
we did separate sessions with them, even though they were talking to each other, and that was something that we learned we made a mistake with. And so we would do their lines, and luckily they nailed a lot of them, and maybe we re-recorded a few things
Yeah.
here and there, but not much. But then when we did Amy's chapter, we did get a session with everyone, and that was really cool to see
Yeah,
them.
we were lucky enough to make the game sort of chronologically. Basically, we made like the first half of the game, and then we made the second half of the game. And so we like took the lessons learned from the first half, and then we were able to get like a recording session with both of them together for later in the second half when they're actually talking to each other. That was pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, and we also did like we held off on the voice acting as like late as possible. Like we had pretty much, well, we had a locked script by the time we actually had the actors in. And so we they changed the game completely. When we were playing the game for almost the entire development with no voices in, and we're like, oh, this is all right.
Wow.
And then once we got them in, like
Yeah.
they stole the show. Like,
Yeah.
holy crap, they really defined the game.
Oh, I agree. They 100% did crush it. So yeah, I'm assuming in game, like, it's fairly locked. There isn't room for kind of any improv or adjustments or things for them to add or anything. It's like, say this exactly. We have to time it with this and this.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we weren't so strict on timing, but the language that's there was pretty much how we wrote the characters. I think what ended up working out well was like we wrote the script and we just cast to find the person that fit the characters best. They really align with the characters that we wrote. Like their natural personalities are quite close to what the characters are. And then so having written the first half and recorded the first half and getting that all put together, I think we had them and their voices in mind as we were writing the second half. So we could already start to guess how they would be performing and how they would sound. And I'm sure that influenced how we wrote the second half.
Oh, I love when it's a collaboration like that and you learn things from that's how it is when you're surprised by like, oh no, we could do more of this because that's really good and that's really interesting the way that you interpreted that thing. So the games, you have lots of inspirations, like you said, the Resident Evil, Silent Hill, especially the cool school setting really makes me think of that first Silent Hill with those little ghosty children squeaky things around
Ghost
there.
babies.
Thank you for making your school much easier to navigate than the Silent Hill school. You had that. You had Fatal Frame. I think was another one. Life is Strange was another one. Actually, thinking of Life is Strange, which ending did you pick for Life is Strange? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh, do you even remember?
Did you-
I feel like it's such a long time ago.
I know it was so long ago.
Save Chloe or let the town.
Save
Sorry,
Chloe or
save the
the
town
town?
or save Chloe.
Oh man, I don't remember because I think we had played it multiple times and we got both. But I don't remember what we
What was
initially
our
chose.
instinct? My guess is Save the
I'm
Town.
guessing it Save the Town
Save
because
the
that
Town.
seems like the quote unquote.
We probably
right
did whatever
ending.
felt like the right ending
Yeah.
rather than what was in
so
our hearts.
are you also like right player? Like when you have the choices and things like that, it's really hard to make like the evil choice, like the renegade or
Yeah,
paragon
I think
choice.
it's more
to be
for
like,
me, but maybe Brian, you're more
Yeah.
curious about like
Yeah.
how things are made, so you like kind of want to see what the off-brand or the offshoot is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I think exactly.
Yeah, but I think I want to like play like this is what the developer intended. I need to do it by the script.
I just play by. I just am naturally a good person trying to be a good person. That
I'm
I
just so
like,
good, you know. I'm just gonna save the town.
I'm so good.
I was just like, I actually chose to save Chloe. I think I went F the town. I love Chloe. Chloe deserves to live. It'll be okay. I was hoping that maybe there was some loophole that if you did save it, it went like, no, the town is destroyed and you drive away and that's the end of it.
That sounds like the choice Max would actually make, right? As a
Yeah, that
teenager,
felt-
as someone who wants her friend, she would be like, "No, this
Yeah.
town sucks. I want my friend."
No, it felt natural to the story, but the other ending was very nice. There's a sweet, funeral and everything for Chloe, and
Okay, yeah, that does sound
Yeah,
familiar with the
that's what we chose.
butterfly.
That-
I
yeah.
think I do remember seeing both, but
Yeah.
Oh no, I definitely went back and watched both of them. But that was a question that was actually posed to me by Ashley Birch, who voiced Chloe,
Oh, funny.
and I hadn't finished the game yet when she asked me that. And I was like, oh, I was playing the game. She's like, oh, which ending do you choose? I'm like, I haven't gotten to the end yet. I'm sorry.
Funny. Yeah, inspirations are interesting because I feel like all of them just kind of like mixed together into a soup. Like I think the most direct inspirations must be Silent Hill, maybe Resident Evil. But even then, we did replay the Silent Hill games before making ours, and we kind of took notes of things that we liked and didn't like. I think particularly like you talked about navigating the school.
yeah.
I think one thing that we took away is something that didn't match our taste was the like trial and error checking it. Is this door locked? Is this door locked? Is this door locked? Oh, this is, which is, it's fine. Like that's part of exploring and you're like learning, oh, how does my map match like the actual like Silent Hill world? I don't know if they have a name for it. Yeah, we decided like, no, we just don't want that. We want it to be super easy to navigate and super easy to like, no dead ends. You just go where you're going. Like if you actually zoom out and see the map of our school, the main path is a straight line. Like you go from the library down some halls to like the ending standoff with like the final confrontation.
Yeah.
And along the way, you'll kind of shoot off to the side, but you really just return to one straight line. So it's like it's the most simple thing that we could do.
Yeah, I think Amy's was like the more well again like since we made it in chronological order. Like,
Yeah,
it
Amy's was
like,
ambitious.
really-
Like the second half, all in one location pretty much, and it's one house that like intertwines. Yeah, that one I think Krista really learned a lot from the first half of the game, and was just super ambitious for us to pull off, and I think she did a great job of making a complicated map like really easy to remember in your head.
Yeah, no, I remembered where I was actually going in that. And, being in the house feels a little more Resident Evil, exploring the mansion, kind of this area unlocks this area and whatever. Thank you for doing a minimum amount of keys, very few keys, as the Resident Evil games have so many keys in them. And you're just like,
that was the lesson learned from Resident Evil is the game is pretty much locks and keys the game.
Yep.
But and our game is too, but like the thing that we tried to do was reskin what a lock and what a key was.
Yeah, how to make it more interesting and more memorable.
Yeah, because you got to remember, like, instead of remembering, like, where did the purple gem key go? Where did the green gem key go? It's like, oh no, where did the pliers? Oh, I need the pliers for that.
I need a battery.
Oh, I need a VHS tape. Oh, I need batteries. I need, they're all still keys. Like in the code, I'd probably still call them keys and locks.
I'm glad you had an infinite inventory space. They were basically like the save boxes, but just in their bodies. It was just this glorious, like empty, just like here's everything. And I can't believe Vivian was able to just put an entire jack somewhere on her person.
In her pockets.
That was definitely on purpose. So we're like, this is like,
that's definitely like part of what I love about Resident Evil is that it's just kind of like silly. Like, you just jumping juice on your hands. Like, yep, that'll heal me up.
Yeah, they're not afraid to be very much like a video game.
I am very grateful for that because a lot of horror games, survival horror, are inventory management. The stress of like having to do this, and I was. It's a little more relaxed that you didn't have that aspect of it. So thank you for that.
It's definitely that trade-off that we're thinking of, like more an introductory game. So it's like, what are things that would make this a little less difficult for like a new player? And that would be inventory management. That's like, the enemy logic isn't like super intense, and like the stealth is probably very friendly for a newcomer.
I think we're balancing both that, like what audience do we have in mind, and then also like what can we realistically do as two people, and so we can only do so many like systems and parts of a game, and so we're very careful about what we chose, and then what we did choose, we didn't go like so crazy with any of them. I think that the thing that we focused most on was the overall adventure and the overall pacing and the story and the feeling of like going through a lot, even though like the puzzles aren't super hard, like the enemies aren't super hard, like it's not super challenging or super scary, but we hope it feels like a real total package. Like you get enough of the scares, enough of the atmosphere. I think we gravitate towards like creepy atmosphere anyways. And then like hopefully it kind of comes together like a fun story and a fun package by the end.
I will say yes, it does. I agree with that. It is very linear, which I like, and it isn't a jump scare game. There are games that are like, we're gonna jump scare you. Things. There's creepy moments with the kids, like you move the mask and there's just a little eyeball looking at you. So it's just you create a lot of puzzles, and you're saying the puzzles aren't that hard, but they were very unique, and I really like the card puzzle. Combining the red and the blue card. Does that take inspiration from anything?
We just wanted like variety, really. So that's what it came from.
I think it came from the theme of like, who is Amy? Like, I think we really wanted something to match her.
So like something that she would actually have, but could be used in a unique way. That was a really fun because it was like, I think we really debated for a while because it was such a unique mechanic. We're like, we didn't really use this anywhere else, but
that went through a lot of iterations too of like, I think we only take on like a handful like more complicated things for each chapter, and that might have been the most complicated puzzle there. But no, there's some. I think it was just variety because there's that. Yeah. I think the calling your cell phone to hear the phone ringing in the room in the dark was a fun one. Like I think I was trying to think of variety. So we made Vivian's story. So we actually finished that whole chapter, and that's when we partnered with Blumhouse. They saw Vivian's story, and that was like super cool. And they gave us the chance to make Amy's story. And part of us was thinking, like, I think we already did everything with all our ideas. Like, do we have any more ideas? And so a lot of it was just listing out, like, what can we do that's different from Vivian's story? Because we don't want to just do more of the same. We don't want to just, like, pad the game out. Part of what we liked about Vivian's story is that it's very lean. Like, there's no fat on there. Like, it's it hopefully doesn't drag on, and like everything that is there because it's interesting and new. And so was our approach to Vivian's or to Amy's story as well, is like, how can we do like new location, new monster, new puzzles? Like, how can the puzzles actually feel different, and how can the story feel different? And so we try to make it feel like the same game with the same characters and same sort of controls and stuff, but we try to keep it fresh the whole time, so that if you're gonna give us a few more hours of your time, we want it to be worth it. We want to actually give you, like, reward you with something that we think is interesting.
I mean, I believe so. They feel different yet the same, in the way that Vivian's feels a little more like an investigation, typical ghosty, like you're uncovering the mystery of what happened at the school and things like that. Whereas Amy's feels very personal, and she's kind of trapped in her mind and dealing with the grief of her brother and being in her house, dealing with divorce, all those hardy emotional issues.
Yeah, real sad stuff.
Yeah, real sad stuff. I mean, just speaking of sad stuff, the thing that really got me was the phone call from Erica, her father's mistress, letting her know that her brother was no longer with them. And that, to me, was chilling, and I actually had to stop playing the game for a second, because I was like, oh, wow. I imagine getting a phone call like that in the middle of the night, being like, oh, it's my brother. It's like, oh, what? No, what? And so I'm curious, is there any significance to the time that's on her phone?
Oh, I don't remember. There was, I've forgotten it. Like, we do overthink every detail, because like we're the ones making those decisions, so we bring it up, but that's not one that I remember.
Yeah, but a lot of the personal things in Amy's story is like very inspired by our own personal lives. So a lot of those like story specific things.
Yeah, that moment chokes me up too. Like I think for me, like, you get that phone call, and I think that phone call, I can only imagine like a new player going through that story, and I hope that they're thinking like, oh, is that about the dad maybe, or is it the brother? Like, for me, when it really sinks in, is you go a little bit further, and your dad texts you, and he says like, I'm sorry about June. To me, that gets me. That's just like, there's like a lot of, again, we overthink every detail. Like, there is stuff like your dad's in your cell phone. Your dad's like profile image is just the stock image. You don't even have a picture for your dad. And then he texts you. And so it's like, you don't really have a chat history with him either. And he just like it's super short and curt. But like the one thing that you get, yeah. And then you get that text message, and you turn the corner, and you get to see like that sort of funeral scene. That messes me up.
Yeah. I'd say
Yeah.
your detail work is great too. Even in the simplest thing of the saint picture printed out from a computer in the wrong aspect ratio, which I've had so much of, just like, a mom just decides, I want this picture. Oh, it doesn't fit on the page. I'll just stretch it. And I'm just like, oh, I can't look at this as an art person. Which is like, yeah, it's great. It's a picture. Frame it. We're good.
Yeah, it's so fun when we get to find ideas like that. It really feels like finding them more than like we're coming up with the ideas.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, we have a system where you can collect things, and you can also look at them. And so what are the details? And like Krista was saying, Amy's story is so inspired by our family life and our like childhood growing up and stuff. And I think that was very intentional, because Vivian's story told the story, like you said, the history of the school, and we didn't want to retread that. We told that story. So when we were looking for a new story to tell, we just started attaching our own personal lives to Amy, and thinking about it like just complicated childhoods, complicated family relationships, being distant with your dad, or like dealing with grief. And so a lot of that stuff is just like felt like it naturally mapped to her as we started exploring and figuring out what that story we wanted to tell was. Yeah, it's just the stuff ties together, because we're the only ones thinking about this stuff. Everything ties together.
Yeah.
I think about the monster, the Lady of Blackwater, and like, oh, you pick up the DVD, and that's like based on Krista watched The Ring when she was way too young, and it traumatized her, and so that was like her childhood nightmare.
It'll do that.
Making the monster's design came from like a functional perspective first. Like, I was trying to make a monster. I was thinking like, how can it be scarier than the first half, than Vivian's monster? And a big part of that for me was making her more unpredictable. The two big changes were making it so the whole map is actually like seamless, like there's no level loads in between rooms.
Yeah.
And so that the monster can go between rooms, like it can actually chase you from one room to another. And then also the first monster, whenever it shows up in the room, like the music just explodes at you, like it bursts into the room like Kool-Aid Man. And the second monster, I wanted to be like as ambiguous as possible, like the music starts to creep in, there's like layers of music and sounds that just like start to tingle, and even when the monster kind of starts to wander away, like we really let the footsteps linger and the music linger, just so you're not sure if she's coming back or going at any given time. And then we wanted you to kind of hear her at a distance, so we started just trying different sound effects, and we had the water splashing sound effect, and we're like, oh, that's cool. And then when she starts like running at you, this water splashing gets louder. We're like, oh, that's cool. All these stuff, just like these ideas end up piling on each other.
Back and forth, right?
Yeah, swirling around and stuff. Yeah.
Well, just speaking on the music, is that stuff that you composed, or how did the music come about? Because it's really good. I mean,
oh, cool.
It's
all from libraries of stuff that I would like edit and remix and layer and stuff. So I arranged it along with the sound effects. Like I ended up doing the whole soundscape. Yeah, but I try to do go very ambient with it so that I could layer on lots of different tracks with each other. And so yeah, I'll like the Foley and the sound effects and stuff, like all kind of mesh with everything else that's going on. And because I'm the one who's like also coding everything, I can tie a lot of the music and like music cues and stuff to the logic that's going on. So I did a lot of like trailer sounds, because trailers have like swells and like hits and fades and stuff, like just things that kind of accentuate a feeling. And so every time like a monster like loses track of you or like thinks they might have heard you or something, those are like opportunities to start to layer in like different, audio tracks or sound, like basically trailer stingers and stuff. It could just do it like programmatically.
Yeah, you're doing like fancy stuff too, where like there's when you're being chased out of the attic as Amy and the music is building up and it's like, oh, the monster is like right on your tail and you're like slamming the door and getting it shut. Like I think you like had the music on a loop, and then once you got to a certain point, it was like it knew when you closed the door and it could like,
oh, that's a fun detail.
Like, fade out naturally, so it felt like a cinematic moment, but it was all
because I'm trying to do this like trailer sound of like have the music like synced with your events. Sometimes the events are like, well, the player can be sitting there for 1 minute or 3 minutes or 10 seconds, and so like the music had to like adjust for it. But yeah, that moment in particular was a fun detail. Like we had a swell where you're like closing the door, oh no, close the door, the monster is back there, and you shut it, and the strings are like swelled, like they're climbing up before boom they slam. But you could be there for 10 seconds or 30 seconds, and like the strings can't just go up forever. So I did that. I'm sure you've seen like this YouTube video or TikTok video where there's like an infinite looping sound where like it sounds like it's going up forever, but it's really like looping.
Oh no, that's cool.
It's basically like layers of strings going up. And your brain can hear that it's going up, but can't really hear the loop. So yeah, anyways, doing all sorts of just fun little hacks and dynamic, audio things to make it feel like, the idea was feel like a movie trailer.
Yeah, you did you did all the sound, and it's like so good. And you've never done sound stuff before.
Yeah, I've never done sound design before, but that was new to me.
I'm a self-made filmmaker of all the things, and just like, okay, well, I got to do graphics now, so I'll teach myself After Effects and all this and thing. Like the fact that you're just like, yeah, all right, let's figure it out and let's make it, because no one else is going to do it. We're not paying anyone else to do it. No one's going to do it for free, so let's figure it out.
Scary and fun.
Yeah, I think it's like part of our personalities is like we see something fun, we're like, oh, I want to try it. And then a lot of like the way that it comes out is really just to our taste. Like we like horror movies and we see what they're doing, and so we try to like emulate what they're trying to do. And so it's like, us making a thing, but we're also consuming a bunch of media at the same time. We're watching horror movies, we're playing horror games, and kind of going back and forth. And yeah, it's just like a swirl.
Yeah.
I would say one of the specific musical things I noticed is when like the spotlight appears, the music has almost like a creaky metal feel to it, kind of
Yeah.
like you're inside a submarine. And it felt almost like something that the composer of Silent Hill did was try and use more sound effect things over music to just, adjust what is considered music and things in there. And
Yeah.
there's
That was
so it
absolutely
just felt very similar to that.
yeah, huge inspiration.
Yeah.
Silent Hill. Like their soundscape is so good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then like your example of the spotlight, that's a thing where I did like a lot of procedural stuff where some of those layers would start to like come in if like the spotlight was getting close to you or if it was going away from you. Different layers would come and go depending on the tension. Like I'm trying to do my best to guess what the tension is based on like what I can see in the code, and then I'll use that to drive like music or layers of music or sound effects or stingers and stuff like that.
Well done for not having done that before. So there you go. Thank you. With the spotlight, is that an actual voice or is that a computer voice for the spotlight?
Oh, that's me.
Brian.
That's Brian.
He's voice.
Yeah, that's my
It was like-
heavily filtered my voice.
Yeah. Secret voice acting credit. I don't think we ever actually
we
credited
didn't have to
you.
put a credit for Spotlight Head because it's me.
Nice. Krista, did you have a cameo in there anywhere?
She used
Oh
to.
yeah, but we re-recorded it. It's so funny. An old version of it, like there was at the very end when Vivian gets caught in the library
Yes.
office. I used to be the voice that like tells Vivian that she has to go to the office or whatever. But now when we added Amy's, we're like, well, we have to have that teacher have a real voice now because she's like around
gave her
at
more
the end,
lines,
and
yeah.
we gave her more lines, and we also had like the phone calls of like the voicemails that Amy was getting about the past, and so we had a couple. So we had like a voice actor do the teacher, and then some supplemental voices that we needed. So ended up taking out mine.
Sorry you got taken out there. I'm glad Brian's still in there. I'll say that voice actually reminds me of the old Mac OS 9 voices.
Oh, funny.
Like the text to speech voice that I was like,
Oh,
is that?
yeah.
So good work on sounding like an old 90s computer. I mean, because we were back in the 90s anyway, so it felt appropriate to the
Funny.
time.
Yeah.
My voice is also in there as the principal at the end. He goes like, "Hey,
Okay.
you kids!"
Just channeling your fatherly sounds there. Hey, get off my lawn.
It's so funny. I must have spent like 30 minutes or 45 minutes like just trying to muster up the courage to, "Hey, you kids!"
Yeah.
Like I don't know how these actors, like real actors, do it.
Yeah.
It's crazy sometimes when you think that you're like yelling and you're like, you're not yelling at all.
Yeah.
You're like, but I feel like I'm going for it. I'm like, amazing. I'm glad you put so much effort into the principal at the end. At the end, they get together. They decide to watch a scary movie together. Fantastic first date. And the movie they watch is freaky. Any significance behind specifically freaky?
That was sort of in honor of our relationship with Blumhouse.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
was because we got a chance to work with Blumhouse and they were along for the ride for making all of Amy's story.
Yeah. It's like a
It
little nod
was
to them.
a fun
Yeah.
nod to one of their movies. Like the fact that Amy and Viv got to watch a movie. For us, the question was like, okay, what Blumhouse movie would Amy introduce to Vivian? And it would be something that's kind of like a little lighthearted, but also, her taste in horror, which is probably like lots of blood and guts. And
Yeah.
then so I think is that was the thinking there. It's like what fits these two characters, and then also how can we like sort of make a nod at our relationship with Blumhouse.
Yeah, no, it was very, even in the pixelated nature of it, I'm like, that's the cover to Freaky. Okay, and we're talking about body swapping. Great. Oh, what a wonderful first date. I love it. Were there any puzzles or ideas or anything that were deleted that you're like, you know what, we just can't fit that in or
Oh my
anything
gosh,
like that?
Amy's chapter was huge
Yeah.
before we had to
Oh.
scope it down. We had like so many locations and places that we were thinking that she could go to. Well, we wanted to release it for Halloween, of course, because it's a horror
Yep.
game. And then just seeing like the scope and the time that it was taking to like make things at the quality level that we wanted, we're like, okay, we just got to cut, some places like the
There were
events and
versions of
things.
that of Amy's story that had like you and your brother were going through like a
Yeah.
much larger adventure, and you were going from location like the house was just like one of 2 or 3 locations. Like
Oh wow.
you were going between the house and
The hospital.
at some point you go to the hospital. I think there was another location. There was a whole exterior, like
Oh
you're going
yeah,
through
it was
the
like a
woods
forest.
with
Because
him. Yeah.
like another idea that we had was that Amy is like a bit more outdoorsy, so maybe that camping could have been a thing that her and her
Yeah.
brother did together.
Yeah, we're trying to find things that they did together. That's right.
Just kind of like flesh out her
But
character.
those didn't get very far. They didn't get much further than paper. Like we had a couple of tests in the hospital.
Yeah, then once we like saw it mapped out, we were like, "Whoa, this is like too
Yeah.
much."
Yeah.
And then once we were starting to figure out, like, okay, let's like do because the haunted house was like one of my favorite like horror
Yeah, it's
movie
such a good
tropes
trope,
and
yeah.
things. So it's like, okay, we definitely want like a haunted house. So like, let's start blocking out that, and then that just ended up feeling so good. We're like, okay, I think we're gonna just do the house.
Yeah, I think we generally started with like a location that has the potential for lots of good ideas, and then we would lock that in, then start to drill down. We didn't get very far in terms of implementing stuff. One mechanic though that didn't really make it that we were exploring was like again during Amy's story, we had this idea of like your world being like infected and like closing in on you. And so
Okay.
there were like things growing on the walls and like closing in on you. And there's like this sort of like goopy infection stuff. And then the idea was you would use your cell phone for a lot more things. Like you would
Yeah.
use the flash. Well, you do still have a flashlight on your cell phone, but you would like use it to like shine a light on the infection or like fight it off or something. Like it would be a weapon.
Yeah, and we also were thinking of using like the photos, like you're using your camera to take photos for like puzzles. So it's like you're
Yeah.
referencing something over here and you have to go back to another place and like bring up your cell phone to see the picture.
Yeah, we had some of that working too.
Yeah.
Where you could take pictures and bring them back up on your phone.
Very, very fatal frame of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we even had some like, okay, you can see ghosts in your camera, but not in real life. So
Oh,
you'd have to
that's
bring that
fun.
up and
Yeah.
stuff.
So lots of ideas.
I think Vivian's story, we had more action in early versions of it. We had like a monster that was like invisible or some sort of ghost that was like would pick up desks and like throw it at you, and you were like actively like trying to avoid these things hitting you, and you're like untying chains because like you found Amy somewhere in the school, and just like random scenes that we tried out very early on before we found our footing.
And then how did you decide to kind of nix those? I think like did you do play testing or was it just the two of you testing it and going like
I
no
think
It
this
was the
doesn't
play
work?
testing. Yeah,
Yeah.
since Brian has worked in games, he has a lot
Yeah.
of friends who are game designers and willing play testers for our bad
Yeah, very
Nice.
lucky to have,
iterations.
yeah, very smart game designers like look at our very bad early versions of this
And
game.
they're like, "Oh, that's not good." They're like, "Oh yeah, thanks."
But yeah, going back to Vivian's story for a minute, you had Mr. Crane and you have the parallels of the Phantom of the Opera throughout that. Where did the Phantom of the Opera inspiration come from?
It was just, I don't know. It's like, again, like the things that we like and consume. I feel like it felt very apt for like the story we were writing and like in this situation of like, I don't know, the Phantom's a creepy guy. Like,
I think that's
like,
where it came from. Like
I,
we were already writing the story a little bit. And we
Yeah.
had like, oh, Mr. Crane and there's these kids. And then once you had that connection of like, all right, there's this like kind of creepy guy stalking
and he's like,
these girls.
he's going throughout this. Yeah. So we were like writing like what could have happened in the school that was like, like not a great thing. And yeah, just like in the mind of like this idea of power and like this idea of like this thing happening behind the scenes. And then like people are getting taken advantage of like, and they're, we had this idea of like, the theater kids, like as like also like a trope and things that I'm familiar with. And it just felt like it fit very well with all these ideas. And at
think
first it
it's-
started off as like, oh, that'd be funny if they were doing Phantom of the Opera for their
Yeah.
like stage play. But then it kind of like kept inspiring the events and kept growing and growing.
And I also think that our interpretation of Phantom of the Opera, like I think it's meant to be like romantic. This guy loves, but it's actually just very creepy.
Yeah.
It's like very creepy, and so I think that's what we took away from it, and like sort of attached to our game.
I mean, you did say that a lot of characters and things are kind of based off people you know or yourselves or things like that. Do you know a Mr. Crane?
Luckily, we do not. So
Yeah,
we're very lucky.
Good. That's
I think
very
we're
good.
happy to let him be just like a pretty exaggerated villain of a character.
Yeah, that was like an interesting thing that we went through with like deciding what to do with the second half of the game was like, do we tell more of the lore of the school? Do we dig into more Crane stuff? Do we dig into more like, could we do like a Chrissy chapter? That was like another thing that we were deciding for Amy's is like, would it actually be Chrissy's
It was almost
story?
Chrissy's story,
And going through, but it's like you already know the ending to that story. You already have retreaded. Like, yeah, you can go through her psychological trauma, but I feel like it's just kind of repeating the same stuff again. For us, we were thinking if we were playing this game and then we got a second chapter, if it was just completely different, with like you get the context of the story, but it's just telling you something new. That would surprise us the most. So we went with that.
I think you made the right choices in all these things. And I'm fascinated to hear the process of how all of this came about. You have such a creative, fertile soil, and you're just putting all of these things into it, and you're just like, okay, this is growing. This one's not. This one, it's
it really was very natural.
Yeah, we were
It
just
feels
following
like
what
it.
was actually interesting, to us.
I think that's what connects with people as well. Is like you're saying, the things all relate to each other, and this puzzle became because it was this character part and this, and it wasn't just a random thing that just had to be done because Oswald Spencer built a mansion that just had puzzles everywhere. So of course you've done some other games too. I didn't realize how many little games you've done. My favorite being Unfinished Business.
Oh yeah.
Just if only Eternal Peace was that easy to achieve.
Just a hamburger.
So
so
cute.
funny.
Your art style is fantastic. Radish Kid Ascension also just such a sad concept
Oh
for
my
a little
God, you got to
physics
the end.
builder. Just hey, I'm gonna go up to heaven to meet my dead family. I'm a little radish boy. So
When you ask
have
the question, why is this radish kid climbing?
You
have
gotta
to have an
answer,
Where's he going?
and that's where I'm just like, this is brilliant. So I haven't actually checked out all of them. Those are just a couple that I was able to check out. I'm Still Here is also what I'm very interested in, which is something
that's our
That was
horror
our
game.
first foray into horror. Yeah.
That was your first one. Okay. That one you're just in a haunted apartment and Wahoo answers. You have to ask
wouldn't
the
call it
internet.
horror, but
Yeah, those were all our games. Like Fear the Spotlight's our first real
Full.
game.
Yeah.
And then, those were all the games that we were
Like-
making during weekends when we had
Where-
full-time jobs.
yeah.
Just the fact that you did that. You have the full-time job and now you have littles and all the things. So, I mean, I guess I got to ask, what is next for Music Game Pals?
Well, right now we've got a comic for Fear the Spotlight being worked on with Asgard
cool.
Books. We're collaborating with them. There's gonna be a Kickstarter up at some point. I probably should know these things.
Yeah.
That's fair.
We can follow it on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So whenever it does go live,
When it does, I will make sure to promote it. Is it prequel, sequel, retelling?
Ooh, I don't want to spoil it.
Okay,
Thursday.
that's fine.
I
You
don't
don't
want to. It's so we didn't write
It's
it, but
Amy and Vivian.
we've been
Yeah.
like getting input and like we've seen the scripts and we've seen the art and we're really excited about it. It's really fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
be
it's like-
thankful
that's
you
cool stuff.
Yeah.
didn't have to write in panel format. I've done it. I've done it for
Although
comic books.
I think Krista would have liked to give it a shot if she had the time.
Yeah.
And we also have a physical edition that came out very recently with I Am 8-Bit. So you can get it on PS5 for Fear the Spotlight. Yeah.
It's all the way across the way. I have
Oh,
it.
cool. Yeah.
It's hiding. It's next to the talking board. The
Oh,
spirit board I
nice.
have over there. There's a little display over there. You'll see in the kill count.
But yeah, outside of that, we're actually taking some time off. Like we've got a little one. Krista's
Yeah.
working with the little one, and then I'm doing some other work for now.
Do you think you would continue in the horror vein, or is there another genre that you're like, you know what, this is the genre we want to try and tackle
question.
next?
I like so many, like Brian likes so many things. I think I would always love to come back to horror, but we like so many different genre games.
I think it wouldn't need to be horror, but I wouldn't be sad if it turned out to be horror. I would love to do something more actiony next time. I love action games, like I love difficult games, and so I would love to try to find something there. And we've had some ideas that were action horror, like very, very dark, but like also just real like combat heavy or exploration action
Like a
stuff.
Devil May Cry kind of action horror, or
We've
Souls-like?
experimented with that. I'm a big fan of platformers, like action platformers. Like Silk Song was my game of the year, and so anything sort of along those lines I'm really into. That's probably where my interest is, just to try to do something maybe more to my taste, because I think Fear the Spotlight was more to Krista's taste.
Yeah, I think that's really true. I think we try to lean into more like Brian's strengths, because he worked on like these action games, like huge AAA action games. So
Yeah, on Uncharted, for example, I was doing combat, and then Last of Us I did a little bit of combat, but yeah, I really like that stuff.
yeah.
Oh man, that's so exciting. And I guess we'll wrap things up, but I like to always ask, what you playing?
Ooh,
What you playing right now, currently?
I'm
What are you
playing-
into?
Yeah, I'm playing The Root Trees Are Dead right now.
The Root Trees Are Dead?
Yeah, and have you not heard of this?
I haven't, but now I'm gonna look it up.
It's like
Indie game,
it's
but
a
great, yeah.
it's a like logic mystery deduction game. So I don't know if you've ever played like the Obra Dinn, the Return of the Obra Dinn, or like anything like that, where it's like you have a catalog of people and you're trying to figure out who they are, and you're using investigation skills. You're in The Root Trees Are Dead. It's in the
cool.
90s, so you're at your little desktop computer and you're typing in search phrases and highlighting articles and looking at photos and printing out documents. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we love indie games. We try to. With the kids it's harder. But also right now we're just starting Resident Evil 9. Like
Okay.
we're
Yeah.
very early days.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
The
so
first couple
good.
chapters.
Is it so good?
Yeah. Oh, man,
I
we love it.
Grace is so good.
I think
Grace is-
Capcom is just crushing it with these
Yeah.
Resident Evil games, man. Like they've got to be my favorite like blockbuster games right now. Like they're so scary and so intense,
They're just willing to be
but also
fun.
it's
Like, just
kind
be
of
a video
goofy
game,
and kind of dumb, but in the best possible way. That's so good.
I mean, that game is absolutely a love letter to Resident Evil over the years, and
Yeah.
it breaks the reality at
Oh,
one
good.
point. I'll just
I'm looking
say,
forward to it.
because you go back to the Raccoon City police station at some
Awesome.
point,
Yeah.
and Tofu makes a cameo.
Oh wow!
If you know Tofu.
Interesting.
Oh.
I heard a weird noise behind me, and I glanced out a window, and a little Tofu was just looking at me and then disappeared. It's Tofu! I fucking saw him. And I'm like, well, this isn't reality at all if Tofu is just peeking his way
nice.
around here.
Oh, so excited. Yeah.
Those games are so good.
It's really hard with little kids now,
Yeah.
like having to find like, okay, when they're actually going to sleep, and then like, okay, it's 10 o'clock. Do we really have time to play? Is someone going to wake up?
Yeah, we're playing that one together, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
Yep. The only way I'm able to do that is because I made it my job.
Oh, yeah.
So I get to
There you
live
go.
stream.
I got to do
And
that.
I'm like, this is when I get to play horror. But non-horror games, I don't get to play aside from, right now I'm finishing up my Hades 2 run.
Oh, nice.
Series
Yeah.
fantastic. Man, that's a dream voice acting gig right there. All the
Wow,
voice acting
seriously,
is
yeah.
so strong. It's so wonderful. And then I did just play Exit 8. I don't know if you
Oh
played
my
Exit 8.
gosh, yeah. I'm so excited to watch the movie.
So you have played the game.
I think,
Oh, we've only watched people play. I
Yeah.
haven't actually played. Have you played
'Cause
it
it's-
yourself?
I don't remember if that was one that I played with Germs.
Oh, you might have. Yeah.
It only takes an hour.
Yeah.
And it is fantastic. I'd highly recommend doing it before you go see the movie, because
Oh, cool.
it's just
Okay.
so much more fun to see. Like, they recreated that subway platform like perfectly, and you're just sitting there in the movie watching for anomalies, like something's wrong.
That's awesome.
You're just like, something's wrong in this. Turn back, turn back, turn back.
How fun.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian and Krista, for being here for this interview. Thank you for making Fear the Spotlight, the beautiful game loving Viv Amy will be in my heart forever, as I, of course, am dressed as Amy here, not my normal attire. And make sure everybody check out the kill count for Fear the Spotlight, which should be out now as well. And stay tuned to whatever Cozy Game Pals gets up to next.
Right.
Oh, thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye.